And joining us is Karyne Bazzano, who is the founder and CEO of American Rugby Sevens. And Karyne, explain what that means, American Rugby Sevens.
American Rugby Sevens is looking to bring professional rugby, start a professional rugby league, and bring 8 teams to the United States, play in a league format, and expose the American public to the fastest growing sport in the U.S. and the second most popular sport in the world.
Now, we keep hearing this phrase, rugby sevens. What is that exactly?
So there are 2 types of rugby. There's 15s, which is your traditional blue blazer wearing. You probably picture all the big guys, and they're always in the scrum. And then there's a more extreme version of the sport called sevens. It's faster, very hard-hitting. The games are only 15 minutes long, so 2 7-minute halves with a 2-minute halftime. And it's explosive. It's
and that's
like
the number
open
of people
field
on
hit.
the team, 7?
7 on 7 is what you'll see play, yeah.
Kind of like arena football, I guess, compared
Something
to
like that, yeah.
football.
Very fast moving.
That might be it.
So what are you guys up against to try to make this popular in America? I mean, as we know, we all grew up playing soccer, but professionally it's had a hard time kind of latching on. So what are you up against, and how do you think you can get people excited about it here?
So we've really had to put a plan together that plays in a league format. What's happened in the U.S. are one event, and then you don't see rugby for another 6 months or a year. So we really need a league format. We need to expose new fans. I became a fan 2 years ago. I was in the promotional marketing business and never expected to be starting a sports league. But I went to London as a sponsor of a team, and I saw the most exciting sport that I've ever seen. I met some of the nicest people and athletes, the ethics, the humility. There's no chest pounding, there's no flopping. There's just an inherent ethics that goes with the sport. And I said, we need to expose the U.S. to that, and that's what we're trying to do. We're bringing it to St. Pete so South Florida can see what, Central Florida can see what this sport's all about.
Yeah, so if we can get Jethro Hauser is with us. He's a local vet here. He's a Coast Guard member on active duty, plays with the All-Armed Forces rugby team. So, Jethro, if you could, in these sevens tournaments, is it like a tournament? So you have several games you buy tickets, you go to the stadium, and you watch several games in a row, and there's sort of a pyramid structure until the last 2 teams square off?
Yeah, so it's you're pretty much this will be more of a round-robin tournament. It varies. You can have like pools, and you play with all the teams in your pool, and then you progress out of your pool, as a certain seed in the pool, and quarters, semis, and finals. This is more of a round-robin style tournament, and you can end up playing anywhere from 3 if you do bad to 5, 6, 7 games a day, depending on how it works out for you. So it's really interesting as a fan and a player myself. You get behind one team that you enjoy. For this instance, will probably be definitely one of the USA teams, probably the Falcons or the Hawks. And you just you get excited for when the game comes around. They play one game, you give a bit of a break, watch some other games, and then you just get behind them, follow them throughout the day, throughout the 2-day event, and so hopefully they make it to the finals and take home the gold. Really interesting.
You've learned to speak English pretty well. Where are you from?
I'm originally from South Africa, so rugby is in my roots. We started playing like under sevens, and moving over to the States, I was so excited to know that guys have been playing it for a long time. It's just not getting the type of exposure it needs. There's actually like 3 or 4 clubs in the Tampa Bay area that people don't know about that are playing every weekend.
I mean, you've got to be a pretty tough guy, I would think, to play. I mean, you guys don't play with pads or helmets, right? And I'm looking at a pretty intense scar on your bicep. That looks like it might hurt.
Yeah, no rugby injuries, touch wood for me yet. It's a lot safer than what people think, believe it or not, without the pads and all that. This is unfortunately a sea story. Happened out on the ocean, but no real serious injuries for me yet in rugby. And you don't see as many as you would think with not having pads and helmets and stuff like that. We very, very few concussions compared to the NFL, and not a lot of not as crazy as people think.
Well, the tactics are different, right? So in the NFL, they hit a lot harder. They ram into each other with everything they've got, and you just don't quite see that here. And just to switch it up a little bit.
You're going for the ball in rugby,
right,
and you're going for the player in football. There's a big difference. You're trying to knock the guy down with the ball. Here you're trying to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, by no means does it take away from the hardness of the sport. We still, we hit each other really hard, but I think it's a safer hit. You're using your shoulders and you're opening your arms, and you've got to wrap the player, so you're kind of helping yourself not get injured, but also, even though he's on the other team, you don't want to hurt someone on the field and end their career. So That's how we play. You know, it's for each other.
Right,
You know,
right.
good competition.
Well,
Off the field.
The festivities, too, around the game afterwards are pretty good. I mean, what I'm trying to do is encourage people to get out there and watch this tournament because it's a good time, especially after the games are over.
You know, George Carl, our canny cabbie, who's a regular listener and contributor here, had a great idea that they're sending the Buccaneers over to London, and they want to go for a couple of games, and I think ultimately the NFL is going to end up over there. But they ought to do exhibition rugby games here, take a couple of the best teams in England or maybe a South Africa team, because it's played in English-speaking nations or where there are a lot of English-speaking people, whether it be India or South Africa or whatever. And another good thing that Karyne pointed out, too, the difference between rugby and American football is you don't have all that celebration and chest pounding and, whoa, man, we are the best, wow, and all that crap going on. They score, they turn around and move back. They play as gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. They say that that soccer is a gentleman's sport being played by hooligans, and rugby is a hooligan sport being played by gentlemen.
Let the phone calls begin.
Yes, indeed. Let them. Where can people get more information? We got a website?
Yes, we do. It's HalloweenRugby7.com. So Halloween Rugby, the number 7s.com. And Bill Edwards and the Al Lang Stadium have been a phenomenal partner. So either of their websites also have a link to buy tickets.
All right, sounds great. And Karyne Bazzano and Jethro Hauser, thanks for joining us on AM Tampa Bay.
Thank you, guys. I'll be
Thanks,
there.
guys.